What up, Hyperchange? Today we're talking about the grocery store of the future and why it's all about data. Whether it's about sustainability, animal welfare, or freshness, consumers are demanding more and more data about where their food comes from. Call it farm to table, farm to fork, local, whatever you want. We think we're at the early stages of America's culinary enlightenment. The millennial generation is removing the veil that has shrouded the destructive, unhealthy nature of our food system for decades. As you can see by the massive line outside Shake Shack and nobody waiting outside McDonald's, it's pretty clear where the trend is headed. Today, we're talking about a tiny little company from Castle Rock, Colorado that's at the intersection of all of these food industry megatrends. And their name couldn't be more fitting, Where Food Comes From, Inc. Founded 20 years ago by a husband and wife team, John and Leanne Sanders, who still own a third of the company, Where Food Comes From has produced record revenue for 11 years straight and shown a remarkable knack for consistent profitability and capital allocation. But you can do that homework yourself. Now, let's get into the business. Where Food Comes From calls themselves the #1 provider of verification and certification services for the food industry. You know all those labels you see at the grocery store? Where Food Comes From is the independent third-party auditor verifying all of those claims. You've probably already been buying products that Where Food Comes From is audited, you just don't even know it. Where Food Comes From portfolio of verification services is constantly expanding. Now they audit over 30 different standards, including organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, and many more. Now, at first glance, this may seem like a boring auditing services business, but if we go under the hood, we realize this is actually a data company. Each standard that Where Food Comes From audits against, let's say organic, requires them going to the farm and measuring different data to make sure that that farmer or producer is complying with the standard that they're auditing against. Now, each one of these visits means Where Food Comes From is collecting massive amounts of information about that grower that is going directly into their database. Now, with over 12,000 customers in the US and Canada consisting of farmers, ranchers, producers, distributors, restaurants, Where Food Comes From has built one of the largest data sets in the entire food industry about who is growing what and where and which standards that they're complying with. Where Food Comes From has started in beef, but has since expanded into pork, poultry, dairy, eggs, and much more. But all you gotta know is that their bread and butter thus far has really been in proteins. That's all great, but things got really interesting when they acquired a new startup called Sure Harvest at the end of 2016. This move shows that Where Food Comes From is doubling down on both sustainability and data. Sure Harvest has developed an advanced software-as-a-service platform that manages the sustainability and yield of different high-value crops. This is done through a network of complex algorithms and sensors feeding back into a main software platform that the farmer or grower can operate to get incredibly deep insight on his crops, how much water they need, how much fertilizer is in the soil, and things like that. Thus far, Sure Harvest's main focus has been in the almond industry and the grape industry. They have, in fact, one of the industry's leading software. In California, over 65% of wine growers are using Sure Harvest sustainability management platform. Where Food Comes From integrates Sure Harvest acquisition next year, they will begin cross-selling these sustainability management solutions to their entire customer base. This will allow them to not only offer new certifications in the realm of sustainability, but they will be collecting exponentially more data on every single producer that they're working with. So what's the moonshot here? We think that our second favorite billionaire, Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon.com, should acquire Where Food Comes From and integrate its data on 12,000 farmers into its new Amazon Go grocery store concept. Combining Amazon's e-commerce platform and new grocery store format with Where Food Comes From massive trove of data will create an unparalleled ecosystem where consumers can pull off a tomato off the shelf, immediately see a pop-up in their app, click on it, get data about who the farmer was that grew it, when it was picked, where it was shipped from, and which different standards that farmer complied with when they were growing that product. This is the future of the food system that we want to see, and we believe that it will happen faster if Amazon acquires where food comes from and leverages the massive amount of data that they've been building up for 20 years.
Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you guys have any disruptive ideas, don't forget to comment below. We got Mooch on Mondays coming out every week, and we're updating our format for Stocks 101, so be on the lookout for that one as well. Thanks for watching.